It's Wednesday, September 20th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky with the latest local news, including police seeking a man who approached young children on Sunday in Trumbull and much more. Frank Granito has a look at your forecast, and later on, a Nutmeg Sports Update, and Donald Ang will join us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, Trumbull police are attempting to locate a suspicious male who approached two children in an elementary school neighborhood and who may be wanted for a separate unrelated incident in Fairfield. Trumbull police were notified at about 6:30 p.m. on Sunday that a vehicle was driving suspiciously on Gatehouse Road near Toshua Elementary School. That vehicle, a gray-colored BMW convertible, which had the top down, was operated by a white male described as 45 to 55 years old with a slim to medium build and light to balding hair. Now, the driver stopped the car and started to talk with the children who were playing in their front yard. When a parent stepped out to speak with the driver, that vehicle drove off. Now, Fairfield police had a similar incident reported late Saturday night with the same type of vehicle and a similar operator description. Anyone who may have information about that incident is asked to contact the Trumbull Police Department at 203-261-3665, or you can find their anonymous tip line at the Trumbull Police website. In other news, the Connecticut Post reports that a 15-year-old boy was shot in the arm while sitting on Maplewood Avenue porch in Bridgeport Tuesday around 8:20 at night. Now, the victim did not see anyone suspicious before or after the shooting, according to city spokesman Av Harris. He heard shots fired and saw he had a wound to his arm. Now, one witness saw shots fired from a car as it drove by the house. Bridgeport police are investigating the incident and have not said whether or not the shooting involved gang members. Now, the shooting took place a block away from the site of two Poplar Street shootings that took place last summer and led to some non-fatal injuries. In both cases, police later determined that the shootings involved members of violent groups. Well, Wilton police responded to a car accident on Belden Hill Road between Wolf Pit Road and Drum Hill Road on Tuesday evening that led to some power outages in the area. Photos from the scene were taken by Robert Ekman. Now, according to the Wilton Fire Department, a car hit a telephone pole and it severed it at the base. When the high-tension wires came down, they grounded themselves and caused a small fire, but the vehicle, which was about 10 feet away, did not catch fire, and the driver was out and unhurt. Now, an Eversource crew arrived and turned the power off, but had to wait for a crew from the telephone company to replace that pole. Then Eversource was able to re-energize the wires. Now, that Eversource outage last night showed that there were about 207 Wilton customers who lost their power. Well, in other news, Bridgeport police are looking for a man responsible for a recent burglary. They've shared some surveillance photos of the suspect and his vehicle. Now, police say he's responsible for a commercial robbery at Checkers convenience store at 233 North Avenue. Now, they're asking anyone with information to contact them at 203-576-8477. And Milford police said two men have been arrested after an incident in which one fired a gun at a motorist in Milford. On September 17th, Milford police were notified by state police that they were involved in a motor vehicle pursuit and had the vehicle stopped in New Haven. Detectives responded to New Haven, and it was determined that 27-year-old Ronald Dumas of East Haven and 27-year-old Clayton Bostic Jr. of New Haven had an altercation with two men in the downtown Milford area earlier that evening. Dumas and Bostic allegedly followed the two men in their vehicle from High Street to the Boston Post Road and Cherry Street, at which point Bostic then allegedly shot a gun at the other vehicle. The victims were able to provide state police information on the car, which led to the arrest in New Haven and the seizure of two firearms from the suspect's vehicle. You can get more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And developers behind the proposed Ridgefield Winter Club on Peaceable Street received a victory Tuesday night when the town's Planning and Zoning Commission denied an amendment to the town's zoning laws that would have removed the term private clubs under the special permitted uses in residentially zoned areas. Now, the commission moved to deny that amendment in an 8-1 vote after an almost 2-hour-long public hearing in the Eastridge Middle School auditorium. Stephen Cole cast the only dissenting vote in favor of passing that amendment, which would have thwarted developer Bud Brown's plans to build a winter club at 340 Peaceable Street on the former Pinchbeck Nursery property. Now, that decision came after more than 30 members of the Ridgefield community voiced their support of the amendment. More than 100 town residents turned out at that hearing, most of whom seemed in favor of removing recreational uses from the regulations. But there's a lot more on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. Let's take a turn now, throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at the forecast. Frank.
All right, well, thank you, Kate. After seeing some scattered showers through the afternoon and overnight. We're looking at a mostly cloudy day now. Very breezy as well, wind gusts around 25 miles per hour, but that's going to keep temperatures a little cooler out there compared to some of the more humid days we've seen this past week. An expected high of 75 for today, a low of 64 tonight, and it will be partly cloudy. Periods of sun and clouds expected tomorrow throughout the day. Warmer out with humidity levels up and temperatures in the low to mid 80s. That number will feel closer to 90 degrees. Still mostly cloudy overnight, but temperatures fall down all the way to the 50s as we get ready for what should be a perfect football Friday around Fairfield County. And again, perfect is the exact word, Kate. Plenty of sunshine around the county. Temperatures in the mid to high 70s. A light breeze around 10 to 12 miles per hour and very little humidity. We'll see a little cloud cover moving in later in the afternoon and the evening, but it should be a low of 60 degrees overnight along with partly cloudy skies before what's going to be a very humid and warm Saturday. So we will enjoy Friday for what it is, and we'll have more on the upcoming weekend tomorrow. For now, though, we go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Ang joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank will have your Nutmeg Sports update, and there's more local news after this.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Today's coffee break is brought to you by the Milford Pediatric Group, caring for the community for over 50 years. Milford Pediatric Group is a community of caring professionals who are committed to providing the best pediatric care. In addition to primary care, Milford Pediatric offers certified concussion management specialists, lactation consultation, as well as behavioral health care, travel consults, and more. Appointments with physicians available 365 days a year, and evening hours are available. If you're interested in learning more or becoming a patient, visit milfordpeds.com.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Manfredi New Canaan is celebrating 3 exceptional years selling Rolex watches and fine jewelry to the Fairfield County community. We appreciate all our loyal clients and look forward to welcoming and helping you discover the perfect gift to celebrate life's most important occasions. Bankwell combines the best personalized service with high-tech banking features for our customers' convenience. We pride ourselves on being a strong community partner. You don't settle for average in anything else you do. Why settle for an average bank? Don't just bank when you can bank well instead. Visit mybankwell.com for more. Bankwell combines...
Welcome back to the September 20th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Time to throw it over to Donald Ang to take a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, it was one of those situations where the social significance of something kind of outweighed its athletic endeavor in a sporting event, though. First, we're going to go all the way back to 1378. The Cardinal Robert of Geneva, ominously nicknamed the Butcher of Cesena, elected as Pope Clement VII, or should I say anti-Pope Clement VII. This was the beginning of the papal schism. For the next 4 decades, as many as 3 men at any given time claimed to be the true pope. Believe it or not, the schism ended when one of the 3 excommunicated one of the others and then resigned. Fascinating period of European history. 1848, the American Association for the Advancement of Science is created by those guys there. The group is best known for its publication, Science Magazine, which has about 570,000 readers, but it's also known for its advocacy of studies into things like greenhouse gas emissions and for their effect on global climate. And the association has taken a lead on things like using satellite technology to document human rights abuses in places like Burma. 1973, Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes tennis match at the Houston Astrodome with an attendance of over 30,000. It remains the largest crowd ever to watch a tennis match in the United States. So looking forward to the film documentation of that coming out soon. Finally, now we go to 2007, 10 years ago today for this.
An estimated 40 to 60,000 protesters marched in Jena on Thursday, demanding that all charges be dropped against the Jena Six. They rallied in front of the courthouse where the cases are being tried and marched to Jena High School and the spot where the now famous tree once stood. The school had cut the tree down, removed the stump, and smoothed the ground over, but demonstrators marked the spot where it once stood.
A little bit of technical issue there. Between 15 and 20,000 protesters on this day marched in Jena, Louisiana in support of 6 black teens who had been convicted of assaulting a white classmate. It was the largest civil rights march in the South in decades. Now, the 6 had been arrested after a schoolyard fight had sent a white teen to the hospital with a concussion and injuries to his head and hands. The victim actually attended a school dance later that day. The case received national attention, though, when the Jena Six, as they were known, were charged with attempted murder, which could have given them life in prison. And after it was revealed that the fight happened at Jena High School, where nooses had been hung from a tree that had the so-called white tree, after 2 black teens had sat under it, the 6 eventually pleaded out in juvenile court for either fines or time already served. That's your look back in history for today, September 20th, and I'm Donald Ing.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Darien's Planning and Zoning Commission has approved the Commons at Norotan Heights, a mixed-use development that will bring 122 new apartments and a retail makeover to the portion of Norotan Heights containing Stop and Shop and Walgreens. Now, proposed by Federal Realty, the project is the second major redevelopment to be approved for Norotan Heights this year. Palmer's Market is leading a redesign of the shopping center on the other side of Heights Road. Now, both developers are looking to transform the Norotan Heights shopping district into a village-style community that is welcoming to pedestrians. Now, the Commons would introduce 2 3-story buildings with retail and restaurant space occupying the lower level and residential space on the 2nd and 3rd floors, as well as 2 single-family retail structures. An underground parking deck would also be added to provide additional spaces for residents, but there's a lot more on that story at DarienTimes.com. Let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. We were live at Fairfield Ward High School yesterday for some more girls volleyball action in the FCAC. The Mustangs putting their 4-0 undefeated record on the line against the Staples Wreckers. After losing 3-0 last season to the Mustangs, the Wreckers rewrote that trend as they took down Fairfield Ward by a score of 3-0. Leading the way for the Wreckers were Isabel Jagenberg and Amanda Troelstra. 8 kills for Jagenberg, 7 for Troelstra. Mackenzie Lesher added 5 kills and 1 block. Libby McKenna so strong for Fairfield Ward, but not enough as the Mustangs dropped their first game of the season. Let's take a look at the highlights from yesterday's game.
Knuckling serve, yeah. Christensen had no chance, and we'll see our first substitution now.
Vanessa Ang's got to keep this going.
Ang was another big part of that team last year.
Perfect spot.
Just drops in the ace that time. Hawkins got the first 5, looking for number 6. And that's the way the set will end.
See if they can mount this comeback again like we saw in game 1.
Right here with Troelstra. Far side, and Ibanez. Oh, what hustle. Christensen keeps it alive. And stepping on the line. No, it was played with, it was double touched, excuse me, and that is the way set number 2 is going to end. Set in the middle, Jagenberg deflected, falls in, and that's all she wrote.
Looking at some of the other volleyball scores from around the conference yesterday, Danbury continuing their hot start, a 3-1 victory over Fairfield Ludlow. St. Joe's shut out Norwalk 3-0. Brian McMahon, another win for them. The Senators are still undefeated. 3-0 they defeated Weston. Trumbull, a 3-2 win in 5 sets over defending conference champion Stanford. And New Canaan took down Ward 3-2 in 5 sets. We'll have more on yesterday's HAN Network Game of the Week between Fairfield Ward and Staples, as well as the rest of the girls volleyball. Kevin Coleman's got a soccer update coming for you, and we'll have all you need to know about the upcoming weekend of FCX football. That'll do it for this sports update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, Milford preservationists are gearing up for battle following an application that proposes a 44-unit apartment building on a historic site in downtown Milford. Patrick Rose of Fairfield filed an application with the Planning and Zoning Board August 30th to build 44 one-bedroom units and 1,269 square feet of office space at 67 Prospect Street, which was once the property of Milford founder Peter Pruden. Now, the application notes that the single-family home on the site will be demolished and trees taken down. Now, while site plans and preliminary drawings have been submitted for a public hearing and review by Planning and Zoning, there has been no application made for a demolition permit yet. City historian Arthur Stowe, who has the power to delay demolition by invoking the city's demolition delay ordinance, expects he will invoke that delay once the builder applies for a permit. If Stowe deems the property historically or architecturally significant, he can use the city's demolition delay to force a 120-day stay on that demolition. There's a lot more on that story at milfordmirror.com. And the Joel Barlow Lacrosse Program and Keogh's Paint and Hardware in Ridgefield are teaming up to provide some relief to victims of the recent hurricanes. The plan is for the hardware store to donate 5-gallon flood buckets that people can use to help restore their homes. Now, included in those buckets are items such as laundry detergent, cleaning wipes, dust masks, rubber gloves, and scrub brushes. Now, Keogh is making those items available at cost with a complete bucket priced at $54. The combined group is now looking for sponsors of the buckets, and that can be done by visiting jessieleechurch.com/relief. After taking donations through September 24th, the Barlow Lacrosse team and Keogh's will meet up at the store to assemble those buckets and get them ready to ship to the needed areas. All right, well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following on your coffee break after this.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
At Portofino Restaurant and Wine Bar in Bethel, fresh and simple food is our concept. Owned and operated by brothers Rocco and Louie, Portofino has a distinct and diverse food and drink menu. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come join us for live local music on Tuesdays and Sundays, Wednesday nights for mouthwatering prime rib, and every Thursday night is ladies' night. Planning a party? All our catering menus are personalized to suit your event and your budget. Join us at the Dolan Plaza, 213 Greenwood Ave, Bethel, and call us at 203-797-8131. Like us on Facebook. Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
At Art Play in Ridgefield, we encourage students at a young age to unleash their creativity. Art Play is about hands-on exploration of mixed media, acrylic, and collage for ages 4 to 12. Older kids welcome. Classes meet weekly at Jessie Lee Church, Main Street, Ridgefield. Find us on Facebook at Art Play at Jessie Lee. Whether you're looking for a great test prep program, tutoring to boost your grades, or a blast-off tour with the college of your dreams, C2 Education is here to help. There is nothing one-size-fits-all about our programs. We offer customized tutoring and test prep for each student. Call us today at 203-423-3328.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Trumbull police are attempting to locate a suspicious male who approached two children in an elementary school neighborhood and who may be wanted for a separate incident in Fairfield. Now, Trumbull police were notified at about 6:30 on Sunday night that a vehicle was driving suspiciously on Gatehouse Road near Toshua Elementary School. That vehicle, a gray-colored BMW convertible, which had the top down, was operated by a white male described as 45 to 55 years old with a slim to medium build and light to balding hair. The driver stopped the car and started to talk with the children who were playing in their front yard. When a parent stepped out to speak with the driver, the vehicle drove off. Fairfield police had a similar incident reported late Saturday night with the same type of vehicle and a similar operator description. Now, anyone who may have information about that incident is asked to contact the Trumbull Police Department at 203-261-3665 or find their anonymous confidential tip line on the Trumbull Police website. In other news, the Connecticut Post reports that a 15-year-old boy was shot in the arm while sitting on a Maplewood Avenue porch in Bridgeport around 8:20 p.m. on Tuesday. That victim did not see anyone suspicious before or after the shooting, according to city spokesman Av Harris. Now, he heard shots fired and saw he had a wound to his arm. One witness saw shots fired from a car as it drove by the house. Bridgeport police are investigating the incident and have not said whether or not the shooting involved gang members. Now, the shooting took place a block away from the site of two Poplar Street shootings that took place last summer and led to some non-fatal injuries. In both cases, police later determined that the shootings involved members of violent groups. Well, Wilton police responded to a car accident on Belden Hill Road between Wolf Pit Road and Drum Hill Road Tuesday evening that led to some power outages in the area. Photos from the scene were taken by Robert Ekman. Now, according to Wilton Fire Department, a car hit a telephone pole and severed it at the base. When the high-tension wires came down, they grounded themselves and caused a small fire, but the vehicle, which was about 10 feet away, did not catch fire, and the driver was out and unhurt. An Eversource crew arrived and turned the power off, but had to wait for a crew from the telephone company to replace that pole. Then Eversource was able to re-energize the wires. Now, that Eversource outage last night showed that there were about 207 Wilton customers who were without power. And Bridgeport police are looking for a man responsible for a recent burglary. They've shared surveillance photos of the suspect and his vehicle. Police say he's responsible for a commercial robbery at Checkers convenience store at 233 North Avenue. They're asking anyone with information to contact police at 203-576-8477. And Milford police said two men have been arrested after an incident in which one fired a gun at a motorist in Milford. On September 17th, Milford police were notified by state police that they were involved in a motor vehicle. 27-year-old Ronald Dumas of East Haven and 27-year-old Clayton Bostic of New Haven had an altercation with two men in the downtown Milford area earlier that evening. Dumas and Bostic allegedly followed the two men in their vehicle from High Street to the Boston Post Road at Cherry Street, at which point Bostic then allegedly shot a gun at the other car. The victims were able to provide state police information, which led to the arrest in New Haven and the seizure of two firearms from the suspects' vehicles. All right, let's get one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Mostly cloudy out today, very breezy with gusts around 25 miles per hour. That'll keep temperatures a little cooler compared to some of the more humid days we've seen this past week. Expected high of 75 for the day. 64 is the low tonight, and we will see partly cloudy skies. Periods of sun tomorrow throughout the day, warmer out with humidity levels back on the rise. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s. It'll feel more like 90 though. Still mostly cloudy overnight as temperatures fall down into the low to mid 50s. Getting ready for Friday, and Friday will be a perfect day around the county. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the mid to high 70s, no humidity and a light breeze around 10 miles per hour. We'll see a little more cloud cover later on in the day, but when Friday night football kicks off around Fairfield County, it will be near perfect conditions. That's going to do it for this weather update. We are back at 2 o'clock for Nutmeg Sports. We'll see you there. Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And coming up at 12:30 CT Pulse, we're going to be talking to State Senator Gail Schlossberg. She voted with Republicans last Friday on a GOP budget plan. We're also going to be talking more about the MGM Bridgeport Casino proposal. That coming up at 12:30. And of course, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.